Hi, welcome to Magpie Moonchild. My name is Kayleigh. This is a little, it's not a review as such. Basically, I ordered a deck off of the internet, off of Facebook Marketplace, which in itself is precarious. You always wonder when you order something if it's too good to be true. On this occasion, it was indeed too good to be true. My daughter wants a copy of this deck, so I saw it there and I was like, do you know what, yes, I'm prepared to. I've had it on pre-order on Amazon since May last year and yeah, they've never fulfilled the pre-order, so yeah, we're still waiting. But yeah, so this is obviously the Nightmare Before Christmas. You can probably tell by the artwork. It's currently wrapped in plastic, so I paid for a official deck, and the pictures were the official deck wrapped in the two-part box with the booklet, and it said it was shrink wrapped, but you could see it was the two-part box. It had the correct barcode. It had the publisher details on the back. So what I'll do is I will show you this deck compared to what you would normally get, which is about the same size as you would normally get with this deck. So that's the size the deck should be, pretty much. So if I show you with this straight up tarot deck, that's what size a tarot deck should be. What I have received is a playing card size. So this is so you know what you're aware of, because there are counterfeit decks out there, mostly on Wish. There are a lot on Amazon. There are a lot on on Facebook Marketplace. You have eBay, and everywhere there are these counterfeit decks. So when you get a normal tarot deck or oracle deck, I believe that the Nightmare Before Christmas tarot deck is this sort of size for the box, but regardless, this is Crystal Unicorn. So basically what you get with the Nightmare Before Christmas is you get like this box, sort of size box, and the reason I say it's this sort of size is two-part like that. It has the thumb holes on the side in the official deck, because what it does is it has a box around it in the an inlay basically inside the Nightmare Before Christmas deck, and then the tarot deck sits inside that inlay, so it might even be bigger than this one. The box also includes a physical guidebook, and I'll get to that in a moment with regards to this deck that's arrived. And obviously you have on the back of a deck, you have the barcode and the publisher details. In this case, it's Hay House. Sometimes this is an indie deck, so it doesn't have necessarily the same thing, but it does have a proper barcode on the bottom, because Pamela and Luna Prosperity have officially gone for their ISBN number, and they have their barcode that's recognised all over. This has come. It's a tuck box. What I will do is, I've been refunded, and they've refunded in a way that I can keep the box. So I'm using the box to show what a counterfeit deck looks like. So first of all, it's like a cigarette box style wrapping on it. So it's not even properly shrink wrapped. It's just that cigarette box style, or the old cigarette style, and it's stuck to the box to begin with. So yeah, as you can see, you have this image that doesn't quite fit the box properly. Like there's a gap at the bottom, but it's overlaid at the top. So yeah, it's this tuck box. It's smaller. It's playing card size, if it's even that. As you can see, the imagery isn't bright and popping off the side of the box. The details, the font isn't popping like it would do. It's not a very clear design behind it. The relief pattern isn't very clear on it. Again, with the same on the other side, and the bottom is just a copy of the side image, basically, without the trim. The back has includes a fully illustrated 78 card deck, so it looks very much like the back of the proper official deck, but it has this QR code, and this QR code is quite important. But first of all, it doesn't have a lined barcode, an official ISBN barcode, and it also doesn't have the publisher's details and icon on the back. This QR code, when you scan it, it takes you to a website, tarotguide.com or something it's called. It is an non-secure website, and you have to click guidebook on the link, and then it takes you to a whole list of all the decks that they have fraudulently produced, counterfeitly produced, beyond Lemuria, What else was there? Wisdom of the Oracle, Moonology. They're all the decks that they've basically copied, that they've stolen the artwork from, and then they've produced these decks. They have stolen the artwork. They are counterfeit. They infringe on intellectual and copyright rights. So basically you have Disney in this case, because obviously this is Tim Burton and Disney's. They have the rights to the legalities of using the imagery. The artist who created the artwork inside, I've forgotten her name right now and it's not on this box to help me. And you also have the actual deck producer, the publisher's rights that have been infringed on. Basically what they've done is they've scanned in the artwork, printed off the cards, copied the outside of the box, changed it so that they haven't got the publisher details, they've just got the QR code on the back, because it doesn't come with a booklet. And then they sell it for like £3 on Wish, and then people buy it over here and then they try and sell it for £25. I think this cost me £30. They tried to sell it as a £30 tarot deck when it cost £3, maybe £5 at the most pounds for them to bring it in. They said it was their friend's deck that they got for their birthday and that they had another 4 like it, so I'm quite concerned that that's happened. What I'm going to do is pull out the cards. As you can see, they're not very good quality cards. They are basically thick paper. Yeah, they're not great. They're tiny. They are tiny. But I'll go through and show you, because they are, well, they're shiny. They're not matte. Like, I don't have the official one to compare it with right here with me now, so I can't really go through. But the cardstock is bad. Bad. If you bend it, it stays bent. It doesn't pop back like a playing card should. It's basically printed card. They've just scanned in the images, basically. They've scanned in images and printed them off. Yeah, they're not great at all. You can see that there's pulling on the edge of the deck of the cards because it's poor quality printed. It's disrespectful to the actual artists to steal the artwork and do what they have with it. If you've bought one unwittingly, there's not a lot you can really do other than claim back from the seller. I mean, the seller today was very apologetic, but I didn't know that I was doing it, and yet they haven't taken the listing down for the others. She just said, oh, I won't charge that amount of money. Well, you're still breaking copyright by selling them. Yeah, they're just not great quality. They're tiny. There's no guidebook, for example. There's no guidebook, proper guidebook, that you should have a physical guidebook that's bigger than the cards for you to be able to use the cards if you've never used one before. And as you can see, the quality of the box is nothing compared to a professionally produced one. So it was just a quick run through really of like how you can spot them before you even buy them. You'll see them and they'll have a tuck box design, and they're normally at like that angle, and if they're at that angle then you can see that it's got the tuck and it hasn't got the 2-part box. And the first question I've asked any seller when I've bought them is this the 2-part box? I didn't ask the seller that I bought this from because the 2-part box was in the photo, so maybe double check that it is in the photo, and the one that's in the photo is the one you're getting. But yeah, so it's just really keep an eye out, basically. Just sort of be aware of the key things. But the main thing is this QR code on the back. Even if you get a picture of the back, just say, can I see a picture of the back, please? If you see that, it's a counterfeit deck. And to be honest, if you want to play with a proper deck, you don't want the bad juju of having a counterfeit deck. It kind of taints the deck, the enjoyment of the deck, knowing that it's fraudulent. So, yeah. And it's really disrespectful. There are so many independent artists. I think Crystal Unicorn has now been cloned, actually. You know, Pamela and Lisa, who did the work on the deck, they're not gaining any financial gain from their artwork. And you say, oh, well, that's their artwork. They've sold so many of them. That doesn't mean they haven't done the work. It's an amazing piece. That's why it's so popular. That doesn't mean that they're getting mega rich off of it. They're really not. Otherwise, they wouldn't be producing other decks. They wouldn't be still working away on other things. If it was mega rich, like J.K. Rowling could afford to retire. I doubt very much that Lisa and Pamela, who created the Crystal Unicorn Tarot, no offence, they're successful, but I don't think they can afford to retire and never have to work again. And there's so much love and energy being poured into these independent decks, especially. If the argument is, well, Doreen Virtue turned her back on the deck, that's fine. But there are still people that work that aren't directly benefiting from, like, they're being produced. They're not the big corporate ones. There are still people that work within these corporations that still have to have a wage. So by stealing this, all you're doing is funding crime and more other decks being ripped off, and more indie decks are being ripped off and scanned in and copied and fraudulently produced, which means there's Naked Heart Tarot, there's Wild Unknown, Crystal Unicorn. I've seen loads of them. What was the most recent one I saw that had been taken? I don't know if one of Jamie Sawyer's has been stolen. But there's just so many, and you see more and more coming through, and you think, oh my goodness. Anima Mundi. It's just, the list goes on. These are all independent artists that have poured years of creative energy and love and time into these decks. And I know this is a corporate one, you know, Disney. People go, well, it's Disney, I don't feel so bad. But it is, but it's somebody with, you know, Tim Burton worked his ass off designing the whole concept of that film, and then it got put to the side. It got put to the side by Disney, and he still tried. He bought his own story back from Disney so that he could create the film. And you just think that is somebody who poured so much love and energy and inspiration and work into this and brought it to life, and it's being ripped off by some faceless person in China. I hate to say it's China, but that's where Wish is based. It's where a lot of these factories are based. And a lot of these factories have printed these decks for the actual people, because obviously they don't print them themselves. They do use other printing companies. So I don't know if the artwork's been stolen by the original printing houses, or someone's just scanning them in and seeing that there's a way to make a deck that costs £3 or £4 to produce, and sell them on. But there's just so much, it's just so wrong that that's being done, and that they're not being called up on it, because the only way to stop it is for people to stop buying those decks. And it's not just the people that are producing and making these decks that are the problem. It's the people that are buying them in bulk and then selling them on Amazon and selling them on eBay and selling them on their shops or on the Facebook marketplace. The amount of decks that I see that are, and I'm really, I even tried to navigate not buying a counterfeit deck, and I ended up buying one and paying £30 for. I got scammed by the scam that I tried to warn people of. So it's just about being very aware that if you do receive a deck like this, that you know what action to take to report it through PayPal. Make sure you always pay goods and services if you're buying anything secondhand, or if it's through Amazon or whatever, because you need that protection, because they are selling a counterfeit product. This is no different than buying cheap tobacco off the pages that, you know, you're not even sure if it has officially come from duty free. Do you know what I mean? Because there's all sorts in tobacco and stuff. But it's no different. Why buy counterfeit goods? I mean, not being funny, Nightmare Before Christmas was £30 to begin with, or £25, £20 to begin with. So you're saving yourself a whole tenner just to rip off artists. I think Crystal Unicorn was about £30 or £40, and the counterfeit ones. But the thing is, the counterfeit ones are now being sold for that figure. So you're paying that price, and you're not even getting the actual quality product that you should be getting. So anyway, soapbox being put down. I just thought I'd warn people, that anybody that watches it, that this is what is out there. I hope it's been of some use to you, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now.